I see my name in shining lights, yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. In business, we talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. But I'm not going to tell you to call into the studio because I've got some great people here in studio, and they will be occupying all of my attention as our phone lines are down. So do not call in. Do not call in. Instead, submit your comments, questions, feedback through my website on Facebook and on Twitter. Would love to hear what you have to say about Get Down to Business, about all of the interesting topics about small business jobs and entrepreneurship that we'll be sharing with you today. We're powered by our good friends at Tandem HR, your solution center. You can find their brand new website online, tandemhr.com, or give them a call, 630-928-0510, 630-928-0510. So first, before I bring in my inaugural guest on the program today, I did want to remind you that we're recording today on March 18th, and that means that there are only 2 days left to vote. Tomorrow, early voting is still open, and March 20th, you can vote. And I know my guests here are probably rolling their eyes because I just said how tired I am of these political commercials. But it is an important responsibility that we have to vote, and this is your chance to make your voice heard. Whether you vote for a Republican, whether you vote for a Democrat, whether you vote for a third party, that is okay. It really doesn't matter. But the main thing is have your voice heard, and make sure you're not doing it uninformed, uneducated. Look up the issues. Don't just vote because that's the way. Don't vote for the incumbent because they've been around for a long time. Learn the issues, identify the candidates, and vote your conscience. That's all that I ask from you. You can find out a lot more information about voting on my website, shalomklein.com. But again, make your voice heard. Otherwise, you can't complain. So first up on the program, I'm thrilled to be joined by, actually, it turns out, my neighbor. Not too far away anyway. Dr. Tony Breitbach, thank you so much for joining us here in studio. Tony, you are not far from me in Evanston, and I'm thrilled to have you here in our beautiful studio in Elk Grove Village with all the construction and all the noise. You made the trip.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you are one of those folks, and I say this on the program every once in a while, you're one of these folks that have the DR title before your name, but I really question whether you're actually a doctor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a business guy. You understand people and the drive that people have to make an impact. That happens to be you've had the training, and you are a very, very well-accomplished chiropractor.
Yeah, so I have a couple of chiropractic businesses, one in Evanston and one in Chicago, and we've got 10 massage therapists, 5 other chiropractors, so it's grown into quite a nice business, and now we've got a business we're making a national footprint. We're putting chiropractors into other businesses, so it's been fun.
Well, that's quite a philosophy, so we'll get into that in just a few minutes, but let's talk about you. How did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was back in school, I at the time thought I was going to go to med school. I'd shadowed a few different doctors, and I didn't think it was right for me. And fortunately, I hurt my back. I went to a chiropractor and had a great experience, and decided that it was what I wanted to do. So that's how I ended up as a chiropractor. So
that was one of your life-changing moments over there. That's
exactly.
Good experience.
I had a great experience. Fortunately, met a good chiropractor and led me down a great path.
That's great. So for those of us that are not so familiar with chiropractic medicine, that don't understand how, again, in your experience, it was a sort of that great experience, perhaps that life-changing moment. What is it? What is chiropractic care?
Well, we always joke in my office that you can go to 10 different chiropractors and have 10 different experiences. For me, it's all about musculoskeletal pain, so neck pain, low back pain, knee pain, and we just happen to be really, really good at fixing it. And there's I think in chiropractic there's a variety of techniques. So there's light touch. Where some people will say the chiropractor very touched me, and then there's very aggressive adjusting. And I think my philosophy is go find the best things that work. What has the best literature, and do those things, and make it all about the patient and getting them the results that they're after.
So I was not kidding when I said that I actually think that you truly are an entrepreneur and a businessman. You just mentioned earlier your multiple centers, and then your business model of bringing chiropractors into other businesses. You are a chiropractor, and clearly that's what you're trained to do. First of all, we are getting texts, and Michael, yes, you can text in your questions, I promise you, and we will make sure that they are addressed on the air. But back to my guest, Dr. Tony Breitbach. So what is it like being in the world of chiropractic care, but also running a business? What lessons have you learned along the way?
For me, I really focus on my employees and developing them. I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned. If you develop them, they stick with you, and they ultimately contribute greatly to growing your practice and scaling the business. So that's one thing I never hesitate to do, is really invest in my employees. And on the chiropractor side, the human body, it's you can keep learning. There's 1,000 ways to address it, and I just love that. I love helping people solve problems. So I still do that 2.5 days a week, and then the other 2.5 days I spend running the business. So it's really good.
So you enjoy that balance of changing things, and it sounds like, again, you had that life-changing experience about sort of getting into the world of chiropractic care. Was there a moment in time that you realized that you didn't just want to be just another chiropractor, but you wanted to be have an enterprise, start multiple locations, and launch a business? What was that moment that made you choose that path and that trajectory?
I think two things. Students now come out with a tremendous amount of student loan debt, and it's really hard for them to start a business. So if you come out with, let's just say, $230,000 in student loans, there's not a lot of banks that want to give you money. So I found a way that I think we can help students get into a business and eventually do a leverage buyout and basically buy the business back. But it was solving a problem. I wanted to help students. I had a lot of students that come to shadow me. And I wanted to find a way that you could get them to be successful in practice and help more people. I think ultimately for me it's about, not only helping patients, because we're really good at that, but how also do you help other chiropractors getting into the business be successful?
And we will talk about the care side of things. I'm not ignoring that subject, and I know that you're very, very passionate about, I know you say on your website, feeling instant results and natural health. So we're gonna get into that in just a few minutes. But that's really impressive, and that's something that I'm very, very passionate about enabling other people to get into business and to make a living for themselves. You've discovered a way that you can both be successful yourself as well as set up other people in business as well, and that's quite impressive. So what 5 years from now, where do you see the wellness revolution? Where do you see your business going?
Yeah, so we would like to. I think ultimately we'd like to have 10 locations and just be helping a lot of people. I think the other interesting thing that we're doing now with putting chiropractors on site, so of larger businesses, 100+ employees, mostly self-insured companies, you can have a direct impact on their bottom line. So you can reduce workman's comp. You can reduce their major med claims. And so that's the other aspect, I think, that not only has allowed me to scale kind of a local business, but to have a really national footprint that I think can have a really, really large impact, and also I think kind of turn healthcare on its head, meaning as a chiropractor, we can be a bit of a gatekeeper. So I think we can stop a lot of injuries before they become big problems. So before things turn surgical or people just get stuck in the world of workman comp and trying to find good therapists. I think we can have a lot of impact there.
That's fantastic. You clearly are already having an impact, and you're clearly quite passionate about what you do and the people that you're helping. And again, we're going to talk about the patient side of things, but right now you're clearly quite passionate about the impact that you're having in helping people get into business and provide that level of care that you're so passionate about. And in just a few words, because we are going to cut to a quick break, and we're going to be back with Dr. Tony Breitbach, the Evanston chiropractor that's growing, and over the next 5 years hopes to have 10 centers. But Tony, what sets you apart from your competitors that are out there?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's continuing education. So we are always learning the best techniques to help people. I mean, it's all about that patient. If we can have a great experience, provide a great experience, and deliver the results they desire, we feel we're going to be successful.
Well, that's fantastic. Once again, Dr. Tony Breitbach, Evanston chiropractor, lots of growth plans, the wellness revolution. We'll make sure that we send people over to your website, but we're going to be back with Tony in just a few moments. Continuing the conversation, small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We're going to talk a little bit about wellness, natural health, massage therapy, chiropractic care, lots of great things in store. You're listening to the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. You can download podcasts on my website, shalomklein.com. While you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. We've got a great lineup of guests for you today. Don't touch that dial, Chicago. We'll be right back after this quick break.
How can you get from here?
Welcome back to Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein, joined here in studio by two fantastic people, but one of them you're going to have to hang on to, or you're going to have to hang on a little bit to meet. Carrie Smolenski, we're going to be talking about the Passion Summit in just a little while, but right now we are chatting with Dr. Tony Breitbach, again, Evanston chiropractor, center in Chicago, setting a lot of people up in business in the world of chiropractic care, but chiropractic care is not the only thing that you do. Massage therapy, let's talk about that. What is, we all are under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress every day. I will have a lot of stress relieved after Tuesday, after the elections. But every day, get up early, work long days. I know I'm not unique in this. Why is massage therapy important? Why should people consider it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at statistics now and how much people sit at a desk or are on a device. And it's pretty wild. And so I think, just taking care of your body, that's kind of like a tune-up for your muscles. And so that was a demand that we didn't have that in my practice for a long time, but patients kept asking for it. And so it's been a really nice additional service, again, just to benefit our patients more.
That's fantastic. So Michael, who is apparently so upset that he cannot call into the show, he's demanding an answer about insurance. Does insurance cover chiropractic care, massage therapy, any of the services that you're providing?
Yes, they do. Yeah, no. Blue Cross Blue Shield does cover services. Most major medical insurances do cover services. Cigna, Aetna. That's, I think, slowly changing over the years. And, absolutely. The answer is yes.
Okay, great. No, that's important. I think that's often a misconception. People view it sometimes outside of the mainstream. But actually, I what I'm seeing is that chiropractic care is becoming much more mainstream. And you call your company the Wellness Revolution. Why is that?
Man, that goes all the way back to when I first started the thing back in 2004. I think for me it was I wanted people just to start taking care of themselves. When I was in that process of thinking about going to med school, and I watched just so many people that were treating their issues with pills, which isn't a solution. It doesn't make you more healthy. And so my idea was I wanted people to revolutionize their health and focus more on wellness and more on taking care of their body. The reality is most people spend more money taking care of their car per year than they do taking care of their body. So my goal was to change that with our company, and I think we've done a nice job at that.
That's fantastic. And tell us about your other doctors that work at the clinic and who they are, and tell us on the business side what it's like having partners.
Yeah, so it's good. Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 in my practice. There's 2 other doctors, Dr. Nick and Dr. Nate, and then there's Dr. Tracy, and they're amazing. They're all amazing people. And then down in Chicago, there's Dr. Andrea and Dr. Luke. And again,
nobody has last names, right?
Nobody has last names. Okay. But again, part of our value system is basically coming into the practice. You've got to be really focused on personal growth, personal development, and also professional development. So you've got to want to learn. It's kind of the core curriculum. You're going to spend a lot of time going to additional education, and they've all done that. So they're great doctors, and they do a phenomenal job.
And how do you complement each other? I know that you have mentioned that you're certified in a few different techniques, something called the McKinsey method, full body active release techniques, and dry kneading. Tell us what's different about that versus what Dr. Andrea does and the areas of expertise.
Yeah, so we actually all try to stay pretty similar, right? So we want similar practitioners so people can have a similar patient experience between platforms. And it's just really those are the techniques that we found get the best results. So again, if you came to me with neck pain, I want to make sure that we get your result really quickly. And so the techniques that we do is, again, just to get that result. And we want to have a similar experience if you go to each doctor. So that was the goal of that.
What's the relationship between a chiropractor and a primary care physician? What's the ideal relationship? What sort of communication? Are you getting referrals? And after that referral takes place, what sort of conversation may exist?
Sure. So I think that answer is changing. So 14 years ago, I didn't get a lot of referrals from the medical side, so traditional Western medicine. And now we get a lot of referrals. So a lot of MDs refer. I still think there's some misconception in what we do. I think sometimes I'll have a patient come in and we'll be treating them, and the patient will go back to their doctor and they'll say, "Never go back to a chiropractor. It's dangerous."
Oh.
And the reality is I always reach out to these guys and I ask the question. I say, why is that? And they say, well, I just don't even really know what you do, and that's what we learned in school. And so usually I invite them back in, and then they realize that what we're doing is not dangerous at all, and in fact is very, very helpful. So.
That's great. And so outside of chiropractic care, massage, wellness, what sort of things do you do in your free time?
Yeah, so I'm a big cyclist. I spend a lot of time on my bicycle, and I've actually ridden my bike from California to Florida. I took 49 days off
Run,
work.
Forrest, run.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
I like it.
And I've ridden down the West Coast, and so I do spend a lot of time on my bicycle. So I would tell you that I spend a lot of time outside, just being outdoors, yeah.
And in terms of wellness, because I know that again, the name of your practice, your website has all over it, the Wellness Revolution. It sounds like that is not just a catchy name, and it is indeed a catchy name, but also a way of life, and you're trying to focus on helping your clients be well. What do you think needs to change in our society? You implied it earlier. You mentioned about technology. You mentioned about setting up at desks and things like that. It happens to be right now. For example, I'm standing, and I stand most of the day. There's a lot of things that are out there. A lot of talk. Some of them might just be call it fads, standing desks, and there's all sorts of different things. What's your advice for your clients?
Yeah, I mean, I would say move more, eat more fruits and vegetables. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? But you can't eat crap every day because it's going to lead to compound. You can't sit for 9 hours a day, right? That's not bad if you do it once a day, but if you do it every day for 10 years, that compounds into issues. And that's usually when people end up in my practice. But, start moving more. We always say, eat well, move well, think well. And that's kind of, that's what I would say.
So moving on to the think well piece, we're all, as I mentioned earlier, everybody's working hard and everybody's stressed. Is there any suggestions, tips that you would want to leave our listeners with tonight? Tips of how they can make their week better this week before they're able to get on your website. And again, we'll share your website, schedule their first appointment with the Wellness Revolution. What can they do now to perhaps have a better week, a more healthful and better week ahead?
So I'm big into mindfulness and transcendental meditation. I think any form of meditation. I think just taking some time to breathe, get out and go for a walk, move your body, and I promise you, you're going to have a better week. If you're not moving at all, move a little bit more, and just starting to be a little more mindful about how much you're sitting, how much you're on a device, how much screen time you're having. Those numbers are just astounding to me because it's changed so much and they're growing so rapidly that I think people forget to be in the present moment and just to be a little bit more mindful. So I would encourage everybody just to take 20 minutes and just focus on some breath, just try to relax their body. That's kind of my thought process.
Well, that's great, and it's fantastic having you on this week when we have our next guest. Again, I mentioned him earlier, Kerry Smolinski, and he's going to be talking to us about a fantastic summit coming up. What I sense about you, Tony, Dr. Tony, is passion. You clearly are passionate about what you do and how you're helping clients and how you're helping everybody in your practice, your employees, and that comes through. So hopefully our listeners will get a hold of you. Want to make sure people know how to reach you. What's the best form of contact?
You can just email me at drtony@thewellnessrev.com or go visit our website at www.thewellnessrev.com and shoot us a message. Let us know what you think, and we'd love to try to help you. If you're not near us, we're always happy to help you find a referral as well.
That's perfect. And in our final moments over here on the business side, what tips would you have for a startup entrepreneur that's listening tonight? Something that you've learned in business, you mentioned already, taking care of your employees. What other advice would you have for somebody that's just getting started in business?
Never question investing in yourself. Always keep learning. Always keep growing. You never know it all. Find good mentors.
Well, that's fantastic. Once again, Dr. Tony Breitbach, the Evanston Chiropractor, but many locations and always willing to talk with anybody, helping people become better. Check out their website, thewellnessrev.com, thewellnessrev.com, and get in touch. Tell them that you heard them on Get Down to Business. Coming up after our headlines in this quick break, we're going to be chatting with the man himself, Kerry Smolinski. The Passion Summit's coming right up. Chicago, don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business.